Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Headspace Podcast. This is the show where we talk about newish hip-hop albums, track by track, give our thoughts and our opinions on every single song. And today we're talking about somebody whose name is just absolutely ridiculous, and I think it works to his credit because he is DaBaby. So being a little ridiculous is okay if you are DaBaby. Anyway, this album's called KIRK. My name is Holden Stephan Roy.
My name is Chris Chrome.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today. The 13 tracks on this album, split into two parts. On that note, we'd like to start off all the episodes kind of being real with y'all, letting you know that we are just some dudes who one day started reviewing these albums. Our opinions and thoughts are simply that of the accumulated knowledge we've acquired so far. We have listened to many albums, but that doesn't mean that we are like uniquely qualified to be the experts of DaBaby. I really do like his name the more I've heard it. But on that note, we appreciate the fact that there's a good chance that a person willing to click on a review of this length is somebody that is dedicated to this artist and really cares. That's why y'all are awesome usually. Like, nobody clicks on this who's just a passive fan, so y'all are really dope. And on that note, your comments are really, really important. And just to show you what we mean, a couple weeks back, because I got lazy last weekend, we reviewed JPEG Mafia's new project. And on that, we got an incredible comment from Elena Hillestad. And she says, "Grimy waifu is what he named his gun from military service abroad when they told guys stuff like your gun is your wife, name her, sleep with her, and so on. She made a love song about the gun to the point of unhealthy relations to guns and violence in the military, as well as in the industry like you talked about. Calling it a waifu also makes sense because of his wife, the gun, is just as real as a person as an anime character, so why not? And it just makes sense going into PTSD.
Nice comment.
And like there's a tiny chance I would have thought to Google that, and if I had Googled that, the likelihood of finding that, it's like next to impossible. Just for the people out there, it's like, you should Google things. It's not simple. It's like you get a bunch of crap in like the first pages, and the good stuff's tucked away into forums and whatnot. So the comments make it amazing. So feel free to say whatever you want. Even if we're just some corny folk and you don't like us, I still want to hear it so we can get better over time. You go watch some 2017 stuff to today, you will see the growth. That's what it's about. On that note, before we jump into it today, special thanks to the heroes, the amazing patrons, Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Chris Prado, I forgot. Oh, Coney Sparks. Damn, I messed that up. I'm sorry, heroes. We'll touch on that at the end, but while you're still here, I think they're awesome and deserve a shout out. Not to plug, but just because they're awesome. On that note, why don't we get into it? Chris, tell us about DaBaby and what DaBaby album we're doing, because DaBaby's name is ridiculous.
Well, for this week's Headspace episode 142, if I'm not mistaken, is DaBaby's new album, KIRK.
Yeah, I just wanted to join you on that. I was being your hype man. I know, I'm in an annoying mood. I'm sorry, what can I say? This is the part of the show where we are going to kind of contextualize our familiarity with the artist. Meaning, if you've been a DaBaby fan for a while, and you hear this album come out, you're going to feel a way. You've been following his career, you're excited, whatever. Otherwise, you might have a different relationship if you clicked on this because, you're not a huge DaBaby fan. Maybe this is your first experience. Like, all I'm saying is, regardless of how you come across it, the length of time you've been hearing it, how long even this album's been out. Like, for us, it's been a couple days, but if it's been out for, 6 months for you when you watch this, all of this will play into your experience with the project. So I think it's fair to start all of our reviews talking about how we know DaBaby. And Chris, what do you know about DaBaby before we talked about this album?
That he's blowing up. That's really how I know him. He's kind of making really good music. He's all over hip-hop news feeds, and he's just making a real big killing. We also reviewed him on the Dreamville, and one more other album we did. He was featured Chance the Rapper. He was also on Chance the Rapper's new album as well.
And I don't know if you saw it, but he was in the same Freshman Freestyle with Megan Thee Stallion.
I think that's the actually, since you brought it up, I think that's the last track.
Okay.
I think the Double XL freestyle. Double XL, right? So I think that's the actual verse from the Double XL.
Now feel
spoilers
dumb.
Alert, my bad. But that's, I don't really know who he is. I kind of, right off the bat, I felt like he kind of looks like Nelly a little bit to me. That was just something that I kind of just went, Oh, that's a thing. But other than that, I really don't know much about him. I don't really know where he comes from or anything. So I think this might be a really good album to really learn more about DaBaby.
So I knew something about him that has nothing to do with his music long before I heard his music, and that was that he was involved in a certain altercation in a certain store where he may have used a certain, we'll call it a stick or something, and that stick eliminated another person's existence due to a self-defense situation where he was with his family and protecting them. And I just gotta say, overall, it's not often that like a rapper has a very recent case of doing a certain action in recent memory and then getting away with it because it was a clean. I'm not even saying he did anything wrong. I'm saying he was defending a situation, and that's what ended up happening.
Right.
From what I understand, I wasn't there obviously, but this was talked about. And then I started hearing him rap, and I'm like, a dude named DaBaby can spit like that? And honestly, I think he's one of the greatest parts of the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 project. So when I saw DaBaby was dropping an album this particular week, I was like, you know what? Even though we're gonna have to talk about Kanye West tomorrow, because even if you don't like him, like for a reviewer, it's like you have to talk about Kanye. DaBaby just had to be talked about as like the main episode, in my opinion, because this dude is pretty interesting. Like, as far as guys like this go, in terms of what you would think, you just don't expect him to rap his ass off. And what I could say is when you're watching these little cypher videos of the up-and-comers, you're just not expecting a fully grown man rapping his ass off at you. You're just not expecting it. And that's what I got from DaBaby prior to this project. So, I mean, he's 27 years old, which is cool because he's not like a kid anymore. And I guess... I don't know. I didn't know what to expect in terms of content because I've never really paid that much attention to him. I mean, that Dreamville album was just a bunch of dudes basically freestyling on mics, so it was kind of what it was. So I was kind of curious, I suppose, what like an album would be on this project. And anyway, the cover, I don't know if that's him or his dad. I think that's him on the cover. I didn't really think that much about it, but then because the name's KIRK, which I believe is his family name, which is like a dedication to his father, which we'll just talk about on the first song, so we'll go into it then. And then it's just him holding a kid, and it's just really homely, and it's just really like simple and regular and down to earth. Like,
well, it suits it follows the family narrative and like the whole thing, right?
Like it feels
Kirk
like
being the last name.
But like I just feel like, having heard the project, I guess looking at the cover now, I feel like it just adds to that authenticity factor of what is a big part of what I believe his brand is.
I think it is DaBaby and his daughter.
I think it is too, because that looks like DaBaby as I recognize him. But like, I mean, I'm whatever, guys. I know sometimes I'm silly. I just think this cover kind of has this like level of not give a fuck. Like, it's not polished up. It doesn't really look like a whole lot has been done to it. There's like a purple-esque shit on it. Like, you know, it's got like a styrofoam cup in the back, like just glass or whatever sitting there. Like, nothing here's fancy. DaBaby's not rocking anything fancy. He's got some simple jewelry on. It could be worth money, but it's really simple. It's not flossy. He's just sitting there in a wife beater and some jeans with his kid. Like, yo. And it almost looks like the look on his face is like, come on, don't get that picture of me. Like, it just... Who hasn't had somebody show up and take that picture of you, right? Like, and so that's my favorite part of it. It's one of the more relatable album covers I've seen. Like, DaBaby's not trying to be like some superhero guy you can't relate to. He's just like you and me. And I think the fact that you can convey that through an album cover is rare these days, right? Like, it's almost like Good Kid, Mad City with that beat up old van and stuff, right? Like, it kind of has that grungy-esque feel to it. Like, I don't know, that could have been my coach sort of thing. Anyway, I also like the dedication with the title, Understanding What Happened to His Father, and I think it's a really cool name. Plus, it's like a reflection of him and the generational stuff that goes with it. It's cool. I don't know if you have more to say.
I don't really have much to say. It's kind of really just straightforward. I think that when you take a second to really sit down and try to break it down, you can find a lot of, like, you know, underlining meanings or whatever symbolism you can find.
That's what I just tried to do. But okay, you don't have to. Let's go then and move on to the intro. I know I'm a geek. I know it. Intro.
Let's go move out to Cali, nigga. Put the kids in homeschool. Let's go get us some mansion, nigga. Let's raise our kids right. Let's.
All right, Chris. With your lack of enthusiasm on the cover, do you bring enthusiasm to the track?
I do. It was really cool. Something I do know about DaBaby is that he kind of just starts right away, and it was really cool how he makes use of all the beat. It's like he doesn't have patience when it comes to really feeling out the track. It's like it sounds like he listens to the instrumental once, and he's like, I already got it. I'm going right in, and I'm just gonna say what I gotta say. So I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a nice little talent he's got there. But this was a good intro. I like how he's as a first breakdown of who DaBaby is. This is a really good song to really get into where he's from and what he's about. So starting off, I like how he kind of introduces the album vibe with thinking about my grandma and shit. I got the #1 record. They acknowledge in it.
They acknowledge the jit.
Legit. They going crazy when they play it, head bobbing and shit. I'm just somewhere fucked up thinking about my father and shit.
Man, he's so much trickier on the flow. He didn't do it so.
I didn't say justice
thinking
to the
about my
flow.
grandmother and shit. That we got the #1 record. Fuck, I can't even do it right. I'm not trying to embarrass myself. But the way he does it is they acknowledge the jit. He speeds it up and slows it down, and he does it on almost every single freaking line on this track. And I just had to acknowledge that the flow is a little bit tighter.
No, that's the flow.
The baby's flow on this verse was the first thing I noticed, and I was like, holy shit, because we were just talking about Helter Skelter and commenting on how on the Nocturnal, you weren't on that review, but either way, sorry.
Right.
We were talking about Nocturnal and how that was kind of something they did, but DaBaby just comes in, and I don't know if he's Southern, but it feels, I guess he's Southern. Yeah. You just feel that energy to it, and he's got that, I don't know, just killing it, in my opinion. Just smooth. He's just gliding over that beat with this flow. Anyway, go back to what you were saying about the lyrics. I just had to acknowledge the flow.
No, it's totally fine. But I was saying, just how he's already, the first line, thinking about my grandma and shit.
Woo!
You're not even starting off in terms of, money, materialism, or how great rapper you are. You're thinking of some real family shit. You're thinking of grandma, the one who started your family and then brought you along, right? So that was really cool to kind of see how he's got that family aspect right off the jump. I got the #1 record. They acknowledge in the jit. Okay, yeah, like I said, he's blowing up. So kind of throwing in that flossiness there, which was cool.
But it's not really flossing in context to what the song actually is, right? It's kind of a cool humble brag in a way, but the track is kind of just to add context to all of it, is that his dad passes away, and as we'll find out, it's around the time that a couple of days after Nipsey Hussle passes away, rest in peace. And basically at the same time, he basically gets one call saying your album's #3. Then he gets a call saying unfortunately his father had passed, and then he gets a call saying his album's #1. So when he's kind of sitting there reminiscing on his family passing and that kind of stuff, and he adds in the #1 record, it's one of the only times I'd be like, I don't think he's really bragging. I think he's just kind of telling us the complex, introducing the complex dichotomy of emotions that is happening in this moment. And in this one weird moment, it's kind of braggy, but it's really more not braggy than it is braggy.
I mean, it's a nice depiction of how life is just really fucked up. Everything, you're putting in all this work, you're doing everything you got to do, and then you lose your dad, you lose your father.
Right.
But at the same time, it's the greatest thing could have happened.
Yeah, so they're going crazy when they play it, their heads bobbing, and I'm somewhere fucked up thinking about my father and shit. They found him dead a couple of days before I started tour. Someday I fly back to city from Miami, and it's just fuck. He introduces, I don't know. He just kills it with this verse. I feel from a concept point, I don't know. He just kind of lays down a lot of where his life is at. How I performed on BET a year ago, can't afford a sandwich, had to move in with TG, or went broke moving out to Cali. And it's his success came out of nowhere. He feels like he's finally achieved it, but it's just kind of tainted, you know, like.
But I think that's the line that he goes, I spent 100,000 laying my daddy to rest, but I ain't bragging. Now, I think that really connects more with the whole bragging line of when his father passed in the same time that Nipsey passed and in the same time that he got the record label or the album deal or whatever. I think that line represents it more because he's out here saying, like, this is how much I spent on a tragic incident, but I have this type of money to do do this. Yeah. But he's being humble about it. And I feel that the fact that he's not doing it in a more braggadocious way is what really makes this more real, more authentic.
I feel like the whole thing is just kind of telling you what happened. I have a boss or an old boss that used to kind of say, when you're talking about things, present facts, not your interpretation or feelings. So your feelings will be your interpretation. So when you're saying something like, I spent $100,000 on a funeral, it's kind of a weird thing to be having to spend almost like your first 100 on. And it's like, that's I'm not saying it is his first 100, but it's almost how it kind of comes off a little bit. I don't know. We shocked the world. Everybody knows what's happening. I'm still Lil John. My song, it just went platinum. We on our own time. Let's move out to Cali. Put the kids in homeschool. Let's go get us a mansion. Let's raise our kids right. Let's watch the shit we teach them. Let's start a business for you so they can't say that you leeching.
Which I like that. I like how he's already, you know, from what I've found, what I've heard from DaBaby and kind of how I guess I saw him and was presented to or whatever, I kind of thought he was one of these, like, you know, gangster rappers, just kind of like don't fuck with me type. That's how I first perceived him. And now coming off on the first track and we're already hearing him talk about, like, we have to raise our kids, we have to change our families, we have to change the way we kind of live in our society and stuff like that. It really shows that he's way more than just a kid from the block.
It ends just like on this song, I ain't rapping, I'm preaching. And when he said that line, I'm like, you really are. And I guess just to kind of further what you're saying, I don't know, that meme keeps going around, or that link where I can't remember who it was. Somebody's like, if you ain't about, you know, educating or uplifting with your hip hop, get the fuck out the game. Some of the old cats who said that. And when you listen to this verse, I mean, sure, he's gonna go on to fornicate and do some other stuff, but honestly, it kind of shows you, like, yo, you gotta kind of move with life as it's throwing things at you. Through the grind, I've accomplished these kinds of wins, but really, I'm gonna focus on how we can do better, like, next time. You know, like, it's not really frivolous. There's nothing in this track that's like, I blew a lot of money on something stupid. You may have blown money on a funeral, but funerals are very expensive. And then, you know, then you got that little chorus that kicks in, and it's fine. Doesn't give a fuck about the world, just about my peoples. I don't care what the fuck they told you, we ain't equal. And I like that, because there's this weird concept, I guess, that people can be equal. And I suppose that equal opportunity is out there as a concept, and that is different than the idea that we are equally skilled. Because the truth is, if you put the time and the effort into accomplishing things, and you put that level of grind in, I mean, you gotta think about your weekends, right? I've been a little lazy a couple weekends. You know, I haven't maybe put in the same level of effort as I put in for the last couple of years on the last couple of weekends. But when I think about how I spend my weekend, like, well, with these album reviews, we study in the culture, trying to understand it better. We make these reviews, which makes us better speakers, which gives us more equity online for our life CVs. Like, the truth of the matter is, I get paid more at work because we do these reviews. So whether or not YouTube works, we'll say, I got promoted. That's totally more money, how I see it. You know,
I'm
like,
kind of interpreting from what you're saying is more like when you have something like this, podcasting, making music, XYZ, the skills you develop help you outside of what you're really doing.
Well, what I'm saying is if you take your time to develop skills with your life, you accomplish more and get bigger wins. And in my case, podcasting is an example of that, and the reward was intangible in a way that most people see it. Because yes, maybe I get to put a couple of little ads on, but y'all can click and see the numbers on this channel. We ain't popping. at this time. Maybe we popped when you watched this. That would be lovely. But in the meantime, it's not really what it's about. I just love the learning and the skill acquisition. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, my ability to freestyle off the dome has enhanced greatly because of how little I script these podcasts. Yes, I have the lyrics in front of my face, but I listen to the albums, I figure out what I want to say about the sounds, and then we have a conversation. And doing that hundreds of times has got my brain to a point where it flows differently, you know? This is skill acquisition. So when I compare that to maybe my colleagues who at this very moment might be having really lovely days outside, enjoying the last little bit of sunlight and weather.
It's raining today.
Is it? I don't even know, okay?
It's raining.
So maybe they're inside doing whatever. But, like, when you think about, like I have people that I know who are able to stay up to date with what's being dropped on Netflix. And I'm like, yo, how? I know how, because I used to be up to date with stuff on Netflix, and now I'm so far behind. I haven't even caught up on the old Top Boy to watch the new Top Boy. And I am so...
watched it ever.
Unacceptable, Chris. Go get Top Boy and watch the old Top Boys, because they're freaking amazing, from the BBC. Incredible. And then I don't know if Drake Top Boy is any good. Drake brought Top Boy back, so that's awesome. Everybody should be thanking Drake right now. And it's on Netflix, and that's season 3. So you don't start there, Chris. You got to go back to old Top Boy.
All right.
I don't understand. Can you guys understand how this guy's not watched Top Boy? Everyone watching here, I'm really hoping that y'all have seen it, and I'm not just like by myself in this one. But it's freaking great, man. Montreal's hip hop Facebook, because we don't really have hip hop Twitter. We have hip hop Facebook.
Right.
Our hip hop Facebook was all but Top Boy for a minute when it dropped. That's all I'm trying to say. Well, in the crowds that I see, because there's a lot of Montreal rappers actually. Anyway, I like the way he starts the second verse. Yeah, verse 2, that little from the other side, and I do it myself whenever I ride. You know my brothers ride, and I still got a lot of shit on my mind that I can't undecide. I like that, can't undecide. So it's like there's a lot of things he's decided and he committed to that can't be undone. It's just too late. And then it just... So in that first verse, you get like this presentation that my life is going complicated well. But in the second verse, you're like, but I'm still real. I'm still from this place.
Right.
And then he said a line that really resonated with me and hit the rap game like crack cocaine in the 80s. And literally, the number one goal of this channel currently is to slang content like dope. It is literally written over there off camera on the wall. Chris can attest to that. So when I saw that line, I'm like, yeah, that's something that I agree with entirely. And then, yeah, I like this track. I feel like I cut Chris off and stole the show here. I'm sorry. I wanted to talk. Anyway, you can talk too.
I just like how he goes, yeah, verse 2, that little from the other side, and I do it myself whenever I ride. When I started rapping, I used to be like, yeah, verse 2, and kind of go in like that, because I used to hear other, like back in the day, other rappers do it too and stuff, and I feel like nobody does that anymore. Like kind of just presenting the second verse like that. They just kind of go in. I guess we just developed of knowing. So I thought that was cool. That was a little kind of throwbacky-ish.
How do y'all feel about the second verse, it gets worse type thing? Or verse 3? Anyway, that thing. You know what I'm talking about.
Other than that, the verse 2 kind of just follows suit, more of like, I do agree, kind of like this gangsterish feel, like don't really fuck with me, got me ready to slide, feeling like Doughboy when his brother died, you know how I step, you know how I rep, you know about baby, you know I'm coming back for that cross if you play me, like it's dope. He kind of just, I guess he's reinforcing that even though his life is a certain way right now, complex or whatever, he'll still act the way he has to act if things get out of hand. So that was cool. We then move into the interlude, where I just feel like he's kind of just like, what do you guys talk about? You know, like, I got this, I'm doing good, I'm, you know, kind of just out here making money. I like how he goes, rest in peace to my daddy, rest in peace to my grandma. You know, still holding that like family mentality, that aspect, that love in the song. So that was good. And then we get the final chorus and a little bit of an outro. Overall, I thought it was a nice intro. I thought it really, I guess when
Did you watch the music video?
No, I didn't watch any music videos.
Dude, riding around on 4-wheelers and then the country.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen fresh. It in passing.
Yeah.
overall, I did like the song. I gave it a 4.2. I thought it was a nice intro, a nice starting. Really impressed with the verse, the way he presents it, the flow, the technique. I also, when he says, "I'm just a little," the preaching line at the end.
Yeah.
Right. I felt like that gave me a sense of really listening to the beat and having this preaching feel, choir feel, church feel, kind of just. It didn't sound super hard, trappy, raw beat. It really just felt like, let me give you a message. Let me kind of warn you a little bit about what you're getting into in a soothing, calm type of way. So it was cool. 4.2 out of 5.
All right. He also looks really like he's having a great time in the video. He looks pretty cool. He looks like a guy I want to hang out with. My favorite scene is when he flosses his teeth just out of nowhere. It was really just kind of fun. And the truth about... Oh, did I give it a grade? I gave it a 4.5. I thought it was a beautiful intro. I thought it sets the album up in a way where I want to hear more. And I like the fact that he took an opportunity to let you know what he's about, in the sense that he's smart and he's down to earth and he's grounded before he says anything else on the project. Just this is almost like a little mission statement, an intro for this album. And I like that. And I like the fact that it's a song still to let you know he can rap his fucking ass off with one of the nicest flows on this album. Anyway, next track's Off the Rip.
You know I'ma stop and talk, and I don't got a cent for a hoe. She bringing up money, I'm changing the topic. No, she need to.
Do you know what I like about the way that this guy raps?
What?
And it doesn't really change for the whole album, so I'm gonna say it now. It's like his brain is going faster than his mouth can keep up with, and he's just spitting out a conversation at you in like the most quick, rhythmic way he can. Not to say he can't go faster, of course he can, but like on this beat, I feel like he comes in early on like everything. He's like off beat a little bit in like an early kind of fun way, but not off beat for those who think that he doesn't have good timing. It's a literal term for stuff. He's a little early-ish and he just kind of rushes in and it feels rushed, but you realize it's completely tight. It's completely riding the groove of this beat.
I agree.
And I think he lays it down proper. Like he's like straight off the rip. I don't wait for the drop. Like literally he starts the song off telling you how he raps and you're like, that's pretty cool.
I felt like that was a nice way to acknowledge how he also started the track earlier as well. Like I got impressed the way he did it, and then on the second track he's acknowledging it like kind of, I know y'all caught that, let me just tell you what I'm doing here.
And then he goes out to eat with my kids and my mama, I ain't did no thought. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm a regular guy. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go have a family dinner. I'm not out there just trying to smash randoms and whatnot. Maybe he is, but he's not dating them. Believe what you see. I can't name a rapper that's out here and breathing is fucking with me and taking the host forced Adidas paint with a T. Like how? They don't even match. And it's like, yo, he's out there being himself, authentic. And then you hear his kid say something like he was recording this whole verse with his kid, and then his kid like walks up and like grabs on. He's like, okay, hold on, take my phone. Let's go. And then the soundtrack starts, and I'm like, wow. This beginning of this song honestly has me as hyped up as the last one.
Right.
The beat is as banging, and I realized right off the jump, this is kind of what this album is gonna be, right? This is what DaBaby does. I know that you know how like on Spotify when you finish an album, it'll randomly just play some crap from another album.
Yeah.
So every time that happened at the end of this album for me, every song sounded like it could have been on this album a little bit that played after, and they were all on different projects. So I got the feeling this is kind of what he does. Either way, he just flows in. He's just a little from Charlotte, the biggest new artist. They want to see me up the road, but my lawyer fool with dismissing the charges.
Nice.
So, he's got some situations that he's cleaning up. He's trying to, almost like correct his life and get on the proper track is what I'm supposed to take from that, I believe. BDB, ENT, we gon' pull up Infinity's Challengers, Chargers, and we don't gotta get money with you, bitch. We gonna get money regardless.
I like how he rhymed charges, chargers, and regardless together with the kind of like the slanting of the rhymes. That was cool.
And I like the fact that what he's saying here is something that a lot of people can take from. It's like, I'm not gonna wait for this handout from you. You can't stop me from achieving what I gotta do. You can either fuck with me and we can all make money together, or we gonna get money regardless because that's what we're up, And he's like, I don't got a cent for a hoe. And I'm like, dude, this guy is my type of thinking, man. Something that's always baffled me is the willingness of rappers to hand money over to women in exchange for sex, and I'm not sure when that got cool. But I like the fact that he isn't, going to pay for the blowjobs. She need to be talking about sucking dick. He nuts in her mouth and she gargle. And just the nonchalance of his flow at this point. I appreciated that too. I know that a few people have commented that sometimes I can approach certain topics with the level of nonchalance that DaBaby brings here. Because, sometimes if a lady wants something out of you, you have to question, is this really worth the fiscal investment of the nutting in her mouth and gargling? Like, it is an actual consequence, especially if your money isn't tight. So what I got from DaBaby is he understands that as a broker person in life, or as a richer person in general, there's not a good fiscal exchange in a sense for this, So in a sense, he wants a girl who's going to bring up the gargling of without the talk of the money. And who that really reminds me of? Nelly. In one of his songs, I think it's EI, one of the lines that stuck with me as a youth, that inspired me in a sense. It's not the best line, but kick the bitch up out the room if she says the word hours. Meaning charged by the hour, as in, you want to fuck.
That's also a nice play on words in terms.
And what is the hook of EI have? Under the mama EI, uh-oh. What's happening now? And then underlay mommy EI, uh-oh, if the head right, as in let him do the mouth gargling thing, Nelly's here all night. And I'm like, or air night, I think it was every night. I'm like, that's fantastic. So yes, we could even connect this to Nelly in that way.
The whole part where, and I don't give a cent for a hoe, she bringing up money, I'm changing the topic, she need to be talking about sucking some dick. I feel like he's making the division between women who are down for the money in the business, and then the women that are really just there to,
I think he's saying like
just to fuck.
And then if you think about the intro, I'm not dating a thought. It's like, look, if that's what you're about, don't expect anything from me.
Right.
But I do like when he goes, I can't relate because I took a bigger loss. Audis know that I've been a boss ever since Rick Ross was the biggest boss. Got diamonds all my
Why did I know you were gonna like that?
Got diamonds all over my teeth. I've been eating chicken. I need me some dental floss. And then he was dental flossing in the video. But I'm pretty sure he's talking about Freeway Ricky Ross, not so much Rick Ross, but maybe he was talking about current Rick Ross. I don't know. Current Rick Ross likes to call himself a boss, probably because Ross and boss rhyme like that. Even though Ross on Friends wasn't really a boss until the end. When he becomes a boss. I'm going too far with that.
I watched the pull-up episode of Joe Budden and Rick Ross, and I can kind of see why he would claim that title now. After kind of really.
I love chicken. It's one of my favorite food items on earth, and I will eat lots of chicken until Beyond Meat makes good tasting chicken, and then I'll just eat Beyond Meat chicken once I can afford it. Either I get rich or it gets cheap. But I kind of like the fact that he's willing to admit he takes losses and shit. See, here's the thing. In part of the leadership quest that I've been on, I learned that everybody loses sometimes, and that's just part of life, and it's how you deal with losses that defines the character of a man. So when you listen to some dudes who's always winning and never losing, I hear liar, liar, pants on fire personally. So when I hear some dudes willing to just admit that sometimes they take big losses, I'm just like, yeah, that's proper.
More believable?
Well, it just lets me know that if he's able to floss after taking losses, that's a guy who came back from a bad situation and came out stronger, therefore he has wisdom. Somebody worth listening to. Somebody that's never lost, has never faced adversity, therefore we don't know. There's this ska song where it's like the hook is like I never had to knock on wood, but I know some folks who have. It makes me wonder if I could, makes me number if I whatever. And the whole like idea is I've never really faced adversity, so I don't know how hard it is, but I hope I wouldn't be a coward in that situation. And I thought it was one of the most honest songs I heard, because many of us have never faced real adversity, right? So in that point, the fact that you're just willing to admit it, I think it should serve as an inspiration, especially to a lot of people whose maybe self-esteem takes a hit because they hear about all this fake flossing about never losing, and then wonder, because if they've taken losses, maybe they tried some stuff and it didn't work. Oh, if they all won on the first time, like even on this channel, man, in real life, people will be like, yo, some people just came in and they got like 1 million fucking subscribers off the jump. And I'm like, dude's probably on a 7th project. That's all I'm hearing. If you get that much right away, either somebody smart's behind you and they're doing the work and you're being pimped, or whatever that is not your first project. It's not your first rodeo, right? Like, it comes through experience and loss to become fantastic at anything in life. Anyway, so at the end of the day, I kind of like when he was like, me and my kid, you know, we up in the penthouse, you know, kicking shit, and still I'm the best rapper. Now, I'm not going to say I think DaBaby's the best rapper, but I think of a lot of cats I've heard, the energy, the freshness, the authenticity, I guess the oozing, the realness that oozes out of this guy's rhymes as he spits, he's cool. He's the guy I'm going to be paying attention to now. Like, I really like what I heard of DaBaby so far. I thought this song was super enjoyable. I gave it a 4.4. I think it's a slightly less fun than the last one. It's short, to the point, comes in, punches you real hard, but I like the fact that we're able to have all this conversation be inspired by this track, right? And it's 2 minutes long, and even to that end, half the lines are kind of, you know, flowy. You know, maybe not
Right.
every line is whatever. So I think he's able to do that thing where he can capture a pop audience and really get people who maybe wouldn't otherwise be trying to find some more wisdom in their life and trick them into it with good bars. And I like the fact that he's taken his platform, and in both these tracks you feel almost like educational vibes popping off of that.
I felt like this song kind of was a really compact, a speed, quick compact of where he kind of comes from, more about like just what he interacts with in the atmosphere or whatnot, you know, between the women that just kind of want to sleep with him and the women that just want money, between some of the people he may have to deal with on the block or whatnot. I like how he kind of addresses that he catches some flack. One of the lines he goes is, "Hey, when you gonna stop? Whenever the fat ladies sing, I don't listen to opera. You know how I give it up. Fuck around, fuck up my hand, beat up, pull up, off up like Vroom. He don't got a car. He's still catching the city bus." Like, I like how he kind of addresses that he's never gonna stop because he doesn't listen to opera, and that's like an opera reference when the fat lady sings. So that was cool. I like how he's still prefacing, like, you know, he doesn't really fuck around. You don't want to like get on his bad side. You still have to do good. He'll pull up on you and skirt off if he has to. And I like how he's addressing that, like, he's making more money than people in his area. He's, you know, got so much money out here that people are still using the city bus, and he gets to drive off and do what he wants in his car. The song is pretty solid. It was really, really cool to kind of see how he kind of just keeps up with that energy and just flowing into it and really just presents himself on this. Give him a 4.2.
All right, Chris, why don't we bop, bop, bop? I don't really know what to do with. What's a bop?
Baby ain't all in the mentions. No, she ain't get no DM from me. Bitch, this rich nigga dick, it ain't free.
I think a really good lyric on this track to further my point that DaBaby is a guy I think is worth listening to is when he goes, "This rich dick, it ain't free. She be throwing that ass, yeah, she good at it. Turn around when we fuck, make her look at it. But guess what? The dick ain't free. He understands the value of his penis and isn't just throwing it away at random women. Now, he's not paying for it. He's not just whatever. He has some integrity with the ladies. He wants some quality up in there. And all things considered, I find it amazing that he's able to even somehow flip having sex into something more practical. And, like, y'all should have some standards with that. All right, Chris, I'll try and let you talk on this one.
I don't actually have much to say on this track.
That's not my fault then.
In terms of, well, it's just because I feel like this is very consistent with the last two songs we've had. It kind of just carries the same type of idea. But I like how I feel like this is more just about himself. So we start off with the intro. You know, everybody been waiting on the baby. I mean, It's like ever since Baby on Baby dropped, everybody's been waiting. So we kind of get this idea that, you know, he's still king shit. He's still popping off. So it's good. I like that flair. And then we get into the chorus. And in the chorus, it goes, I needed some shit with some bop in it. I flew past the whip with the blunt in my mouth, watching the swerve in the whip and a cup in it. My bitch got good pussy, fly her across the country. I finished the show and I hop in it. I mean, it really just kind of feels like the same type of lyrics and the same type of energy we've been getting. But I like this is more centered around what he's doing instead of like his environment and what he sees and whatnot. So that was cool. I feel like
how do you
really
skip
flexing.
the coolest line in the chorus?
I get me a milli, I did it legitly.
Yeah, think about that line. How often are people bragging like that? That's a brag. And that's a cool brag. That's saying I made $1 million clean.
Fair enough.
That's like, everyone else is making bags and it's unscrupulous, and a lot of the bag making
But I mean,
is
I guess
implied,
everybody
whatever.
around him, like the rappers we listen to, if they spit that, like I listen to, if they spit, like I get $1 million, it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure you get it legitly.
Who?
Like, Eminem goes, I made $1 million. I'm not sitting here going,
Yeah, pick him as your example.
Kendrick, fucking.
Yeah, pick
Tech.
him
Like,
as your example.
I don't know who to pick. Just rappers I listen to.
Well, maybe not somebody that's like somebody that's established as goats. It's not really fair to go to goats.
Well, Flatbush. I'm listening to Beast
They
Coast.
don't make $1 million.
But if they did, I'm saying if they were to spit the bar and be like, oh, we just made $1 million, I'm not sitting here thinking they're like fucking selling dope.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. They're making it legitly.
Sorry, they're worth $3 million. They're like kind of at $1 million. But like, they're not saying that. They're trying to is more what they're saying. I mean, my point is, okay, fine. Flatbush, a weird experimental hip hop band that's clearly art driven. Most dudes who are just talking about it aren't really
I feel that.
saying it from the same lane. Okay,
Right.
fine. There are examples, but who the hell is bragging about making $1 million legitly? Like it needed to be said. My money, yo, feds, leave me alone. My money's clean. Anyway.
Fair
Go
enough.
on, Chris.
We do hop into the first verse. And he starts off pretty smooth. Oh, you asking for pictures with what's your name? Get the fuck out my spot. Trying to figure which deal I'm gonna take. I woke up, couple million on my plate. Now I like how he's addressing like he doesn't have time to take pictures. Or maybe it's not even time to take pictures, but like
Desire.
yeah, or you're not even close to being my status that I even want to associate with you. Like you don't get to get a picture because you're not at the same level. What's your name? Get the fuck out of the spot. It's like if you don't even have credibility, he doesn't really want to talk to you. He really shows like this idea of like I need to know who you are, and I have to see what you can do before we can even like connect or really have like that conversation. So that was cool. Bragging about having money on his plate when he wakes up. That was cool. I like how he went, I'm investing in real and estate. It sounds like real estate, real and estate. I'm sure that estate is still like property.
Yes.
So I like how he's investing in real, as in like real people, real terms, and then also in property and trying to maybe do something with that. What maybe for like the community or whatnot.
Or him, it's saying I'm using my money in a smart way.
Well,
Invest
there's
in
that.
real estate because outside of 2008, typically it's a safe investment. I don't know if condos are, but real estate is.
Fair enough. I like the line where he goes, probably won't hear me open my mouth unless you're hearing me talking about finding some money. Really shows that like he's smart. Like he doesn't really want to have conversations if it's not about something that's going to benefit him or if it makes sense. So that was cool. But it kind of just really flows through for me. It didn't really have much that jumped out or I was just like, oh, this is super dope. But he does kind of keep it consistent. And what I think I'm going to start, what I'm going to have to deal with is it's a specific sound. Mm-hmm. It's a specific way. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, it could sound a little dragging on a little bit.
That doesn't mean that he doesn't full of smart bars all the way through it. Like, I'm unorthodox than a motherfucker. Hey, when you gonna switch flows? I thought you never asked. Ain't fucking with me. And ain't about what the fuck they be rapping about with their little scary ass. But to each his own. If you like it, I love it. No biggie. That boy say you got money. Oh, really? How much they gonna cut you a check for? $1 million? And I'm like, interesting, right? Because he's kind of looking at this stuff like, I'm not trying to play no games. I'm just being me. I'm just trying to be my own person. And then he's looking at everyone else, and to them, by comparison, he sounds corny. They all sound corny, I mean. And then he's like, okay, they're all tough guy, whatever. But him, he's a real deal type dude. And he's like, oh, you're getting checks for that kind of money? And he's like, whatever. So it's like, y'all are kind of ridiculous. And then I like how he brings up those girls like Megan Thee Stallion. He compares it to her, who did the little cypher verse with him. And then, you know, I like how it flows in. But I needed some shit with some bop in it. It just has a good bounce to it. It's got a good flow to it. The beat's pretty nice, and I think that we have already discussed how he kind of is consistent in representing himself, right? That's something that's important, because if you're gonna come in and talk about how you spit the real about who you are, you can't have cracks in it. It's gotta be like every verse is bringing the same person, and I believe he's accomplishing that. So stylistically, you're right, there's not a whole lot of versatility. You either gonna be in this for what you're in it for, or not. But let's say you need an album to get motivated. I think he's hitting a need. I think he's hitting a whole bunch of people and giving them something almost uplifting to listen to against other people's stuff that might be more selfish. So I'm giving this a 4.35. I think it's really well made, excellently done, and he just continues to rap his ass off as we ride them vibes with a Z.
Gave it a 4.
Oh, Chris gave it a 4 because apparently I skipped him on the vibes with a Z. Zed? I like Zed better. Go Canada.
I don't know. Having 3 hoes in the king side. I ain't finished yet. Get another bitch. Got a riding dick and screaming.
That's like the best ad lib of the fucking year when he's got her riding dick and screaming, yeehaw! Now allow me to be clear. I am, in fact, a fan of the cowgirl and reverse cowgirl positions. They are wonderful creations in life. So, make me proud, girl. You a cowgirl. I like that shit. I thought that was fun. Because, typically, rappers don't make sex songs sound fun, in my opinion. They sound boring and sad. Like, here, woman, train my resources, you gold digger. And I'm just like, oh, that's not what I want. That's not the fantasy. Like, the fantasy shouldn't be she's taking my money.
Right.
Anyway, but he starts this off going, she want to fuck with me, but I don't got the time. I just hopped off a private plane and hopped on 85. So call my chauffeur, because I don't like to drive. We in Suburbans back to back. We going to fill them up with vibes. I thought that was cool, because at the end of the day, he's taking that, like, typical cliche of how men seem to be consumed with vaginas these days to a point where you lose yourself to it, and it's odd. It's like, yo, she wants to fuck with me, but unfortunately my priorities are dictating that I don't have time in this moment. Therefore, he's applying effective time management and getting you to consider before getting your dick wet, is this a good use of my time? Fascinating, And he's also lazy and doesn't like to drive. And I can't wait till I have a chauffeur in my life and I never have to drive again. And Uber's kind of like that, but I can't afford Uber all the time.
Gotta love my friends.
Yeah, I don't have friends like that. People my age are like, fuck you, gas money. And I'm like, I'm out. I don't want to spend. I may as well get Uber then. Anyway, and he just flows through with this track, man. Like, fill him with vibes, getting him right. And I felt like Chris was gonna love this flow compared to the other flows, because it sounds like it's more in line with the huggada flows that you're into.
I mean, I like the flow. It's earwormy, it's catchy, so I went along with it, and I like what
Make it sound like he violated you.
No, I don't think he violated me. I've had other songs that I'm
Went
like...
along with it, and I had to enjoy the flow because it's there.
Well, because it's like, it's nothing, it didn't, the flow of it wasn't anything new. Like, it was good. The way he presents it is nice. I like his voice. I like how he flows, but like the triplet flow, the trappy flow, it's
At least they're getting 6 hoes at a time. That's a lot more hoes
I
than
agree,
normal.
and I do like, got so many vibe stuff in the car. We can fuck them hoes 6 at a time. I make them hoes say that. So fine, girl, he got the dick. You can feel it in your spine. Like, I like how he's turning the idea of sex with just sex in general in terms of just being a vibe, a pleasurable moment, and not having something to be like bragging about or whatnot. Granted, he seems to be bragging about what he can do on this song, yes, but I don't think that the lines themselves or the song itself is supposed to be like, this is how many bitches I'm fucking or whatnot. It's
I just think like he probably was describing a snippet like this just sounds like, yo, we bring vibes, the girls come through, we have a good time, this is what the situation is, it's just part of the life. I'm being real with you. My brother, them having 3 hoes in the king size. I ain't finished yet. Get another bitch. Got a dick riding dick and screaming, yeah! I don't know. I just like that part. We going numb. She says she want to come. I'm looking like when. She said she looking like now. Some more came in. Say they wanted to. I type in my brother. Bitch, I'm out. Bye. And so he's banging girls, having a good time. And then the girl apparently is like, I need more dick. And he's like, okay. And then more girls came in, and he's like, okay, this is too much for me. I have hit my limit, and I'm out. And then when you get back to the chorus, you want to fuck with me, but I ain't got the time. You realize he just spent all sorts of time plowing girl after girl after girl of various sizes and varieties. And now he's a little, like, out. Drained the dragon, we'll say. And he doesn't have the time. Hopped on a jet. So now that we're on the jet, he's telling to the next girl, let's get on the jet. Come give me some neck. I'm like, I like getting neck. I want to get neck on a jet. Neck is blowjobs, people. Don't you want to get your dick sucked 30,000 feet in the air?
I would.
Thank you. Everybody wants that. I mean, maybe not everybody, but I want that. And then he's like, she ain't picking up, and her just called. She gonna send him a text. I don't need no doc, bitch. You know I'm a dog. Better send me the vet. Ever made you $1 million? I tell them, riddle me that. Ain't offended me yet. And I guess he's just kind of rolling through like, I'm the shit. I don't care if you have a guy. This is my life. You interested or not? I'm about to go buy me a coupe. And then it's not like I can justify a lot of the rest of the songs per se in terms of distinction and awesomeness, but I do think it flows on in terms of consistently being more fun than one would expect given the subject matter at hand. He takes like a generic-y thing and almost shows you that he can do it a little better than the fake fuckers.
I agree.
At least I feel like his sex life is more interesting than many of the others we've come across.
Which I think that's why I like it.
So 4.35 on 5.
I gave it a 4. It's a good song. I like it, and I think it's just because of the fact that it's more upbeat. It's more like kind of happy. You kind of want to engage in it, and I do agree. It's not, oh my God, I love you, take my soul, blah blah blah, let's make love and gripping and all this shit. Like,
nobody sounds like that. It's more like, girl, twerk it, get it to the flow. Let me throw my dollars as you shake it some more, girl. Come, give me that head. 30 fucking bands, fuck me till I come. Like, yo, you spent $30,000 on one nut? That shit costs like $180 on the streets of Montreal. Is what I'm saying. That's a bad price, dog. That's all I'm saying. That's my problem with it. It's so bad. Who the
80 for a nut on the streets of Montreal.
Yeah, there's websites and shit. You can go look at the price. My point is more, y'all don't have to spend that much money. It's stupid. It's stupid.
I don't have a say, man. You blow your money on what the fuck you want to blow it on at this point.
I like his vibe better.
Actually, I think we did swear the first 3 minutes of the podcast. I'm proud of us.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks. You're not allowed to swear at the beginning anymore. YouTube takes your money away. Soon it'll be you can't say fuck anywhere in the podcast or YouTube will take your money away. And that'll be in the future and apply to this podcast, which exists today, even though that's the future. Still, what I'm trying to say is I feel like DaBaby makes a sex song a little more fun because there's none of that lame shit. Like, you honestly feel like he's an appealing guy, and because he's an appealing guy, women are interested in him, and they're willing to, have a good time with him and his peoples, which is a lot more, I want to say, interesting as a person with an ego than say, take all of my money, Miss Lady, as you work it at the club for me. Like, I don't know, man. Strip clubs have never been my vibe, but also strip clubs in Montreal may not have the same thing as the strip clubs in Atlanta, because that shit looks a lot more fun. I've been told it's like Cirque du Soleil and stuff, and I guess that would be cool. Anyway, hey now, you're a pop star. Is the next song go play? That dude got in trouble for harassing his lady. Gossip news. Pop star.
I told her sorry, I'm not fucking, baby, I'm not a hoe. That bitch is knocking at my...
So we're 5 tracks into this project, and DaBaby, again, I think he's bringing the magic right off the jump. I like the way this hook kicks in with. They probably tell you I went pop until would play with me and he'd get pop. You know, the implication then, it's like you get some money, you start doing well in life, and you're a sellout. And this is something, oh my gosh, the black film. Anyway, this is something that, like, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like that's starting to fall off. We're planning on replacing that once we get Black Friday sales coming at the end of the year. Woo, Black Friday sales! But I like the fact that it's like, yo, you can think a few things about me just because I got some stuff going on, but I'm still from that other part of my life, you know?
I think it also addresses that, like, he's making that division that there are some rappers or artists who do sell out when they start making money and they completely change. And he's kind of like just being like, don't associate me in that box. I'm still here. I'm
still at the front row at BET without my Glock, ready to beat up like I'm the Rock. And I think that's cool too, right? Because even though he's not armed per se, and he's not going to go down that route, he's willing to fight with his fist and come in proper, you know. And she ready to sweep her up because he hot. She ready to eat her up until he lock. And I'm like, oh, immediately after, because he's the macho man, he is attracting the women.
Right.
And then she hit the brakes and speeded up like she a cop. Now she got her hands behind her back, head like I'm a cop. I told her, fuck the police. Yeah. And at first I was like, that's stupid. And now I'm like, that's amazing and stupid all at the same time. Like, it's not that stupid. Obviously, it's like, you fuck the police is a fun statement, but like, this sounds like the byproduct of a fat blunt and some serious chronic, as opposed to, like, you know, like, it sounds like he was really stoned when he wrote that. That's what I'm taking from it.
Well, I think it still kind of falls into the line of, like, he's staying true to himself.
Yeah, but
right? Like,
it's
no
like
matter what, he's making X amount of money.
It is the most creative introduction of a "fuck the police" lyric I have ever heard. And
yeah,
it gets a lot of points for that. On the other hand, it is not the most hard delivery. It's like corny. It's corny is what it is. But he is DaBaby, and I like this guy so far. I'm really enjoying this album. She right beside me and she's sending nudes. You fuck my bitch, that's cool. I'm fucking their bitches too. And instantly I'm like, yo, he hit me at a new level of respect. Like, I already respected this guy like he's one of my people, and he hit me in a whole new way. See, another thing about rappers that really grinds my gears is how they're allowed to promiscuously fuck all of the women in the world with no consequence. Like, all of a sudden you can just do what you want and it's okay. But if somebody affronts your woman, that's not okay. What's DaBaby going? I'm equal. You let her get that dick. I know I'm gonna go cheat. And I'm like, DaBaby's about that open stuff.
But I think, anyway, I'm not going there.
What I'm trying to say is, I think it shows a level of confidence that he's able to let his girl do whatever, because A, he knows he's gonna do whatever, so there's fairness, but also he's like, who cares, man? Like, this is just how people are. Like, let's cut the bullshit if that really matters. Nah, she could be down to ride and getting some dick on the side, because I know I'm down to ride and I'm getting some shit on the side.
But that's the thing. Like, she's down for that. Like, a lot of these rappers are getting with women who are like, nah, you mine and I'm yours. And if you cheat on me, and then they still cheat.
Sorry. A lot of these rappers are lying in their fantasies.
I mean, sure.
I don't believe a lot of these rappers are really doing that. I think they're just paying women at strip clubs. That part I believe.
Which still, I mean,
like, what I'm trying to say is that the people that the way they represent themselves is this duplicitous, like, I can do what I want but she can't attitude.
I agree.
Because I'm rich.
I agree.
DaBaby's attitude is she can do what she wants because I'm gonna do what I want, and that's more admirable.
I agree, but I'm saying that you can do that because she seems to be down with DaBaby in terms of having that lifestyle. I'm saying...
They maybe never even had the conversation. I think it's just more interesting that he's not acting insecure because she's getting other dick. Because he knows in his heart he's smashing other people. It's like, how many people have the "Baby, you're mine and only mine, you can't fuck other people's" song? It was like track 7, and track 11 is I fuck 7 bitches in Costa Rica or some shit like that. And you're like, you in particular will be like, I don't understand it. He was just in love like 4 songs ago, and now he's fucking hoes, and it doesn't make sense.
No. I want to clear this up. I'm gonna go. You can't turn around and be like, why do you hate me? I love you so much on track 3. and then on track 4 be like, I'm out here fucking different pussy.
That's my
Well,
point.
this is the answer.
So-
You're cheating on her.
So DaBaby's saying, I'm not going to be up in a tiffy. I know she getting another dick because I'm getting other ones. Everybody's happy. Life moves on. Let's make more money.
Yes, I agree.
Respect.
Moving on.
Look, man, if my girl has to go out there and do what she got to do to get her happiness on and we can all make more money and get to the next place in life, who the fuck am I to stop her from doing what she got to do? You know what I'm trying to say? Chris is like, no, I don't understand what you're trying to say.
I completely understand, but I also know that there's going to be a conversation there that it's like, this is what we're doing. Like, me and you are still a thing, but you do what you do, I do what I do.
Even if there's no conversation and some shit goes down, I'm not insecure. I know that she ain't gonna find better than me.
That's fair.
That's what it is. So let it be. It just sounds better if everybody can do what they want. It doesn't sound worse to me. It sounds better to me. DaBaby's my kind of guy. Anyway, I like the fact that he's just so cocky that they're like, you can picture him lying in bed, having just smashed, his nuts dripping out of her vagina, texting the next guy. I love that. I'm corrupt like that, but that sounds to me like a realistic, down-to-earth thing that actually happens more often than like people will want to go on about. Like this is... Given the divorce rates over infidelity and stuff, this isn't like just a few people are into that world. It's like a lot of people are into that world, and DaBaby's just being honest about it, and I appreciate that. Anyway, then Kevin Gates drops this hard I sell drugs line, and you're just like, whoa, that just came out of nowhere. Like, he's a plug working on a drug hub out in H-Town.
You skipped the whole, like, chorus in the bridge, in the pre-chorus.
The baby bougie. He be
turning down all kind of hoes. He took my bitch in Nike. I'm rocking designer clothes. I like just the...
That didn't do a lot for me.
I like how they're just kind of expressing where they're at, and kind of like, we kind of live this life, but we also kind of live this other life as well. And I thought it was a nice little, like, best of both worlds type of little pre-chorus. The chorus was cool. I like how my interpretation of the chorus is just, again, just because I make a lot of money doesn't mean I have to change the way I am. And you're going to hear people say this. You're going to hear people kind of talk that I may have sold out or whatnot because, and I think he's more addressing the fact that maybe a lot of news or gossip, or maybe he might be not giving out as much information, but I think he's still trying to solidify, like, don't fuck with us. Like, we are these real type of people. The Kevin Gates feature, I love it. I really like how he presented his verse. I like how, he kind of mixed up with the different type of syllables, and he just played around with the different type of sounds and the way he used his vocals. That was really good. I really like Kevin Gates. But part of me kind of feels like this is a little bit of like a cosign to being a thug. From what I know about Kevin Gates, he's always been hard. When I used to listen to him a couple years ago with the homies, like, it's always just been this type of vibe of, like...
You know who this guy is?
I know Kevin Gates.
I never heard of him.
Yeah, I know Kevin Gates. I've been listening to him. I know him. Like, his first couple albums that came out, like, my friends, my circle of friends used to bump him too. So a lot of the rappers I know just because my boys were interested in. And I've always really liked Kevin Gates and what he's trying to do and what he's represented. I know he also went away for a bit, went to jail for a bit, came back. Like, been a whole run. Taking trips to, this is Kevin Gates' verse too. Taking a trip to Mexico, I'm coming right back in town. I sell a lot of Perico, been trying to slow it down. Taking a 4, I put a 2 on that. And then I make it bounce. I take a 36 to 108 and away on every ounce. Like, it's straight just kind of drug dealing bars, but it's dope because he's still out here, and at the time when I was listening to Kevin Gates, he was big. Like, he was fucking big. So the same idea is, just because he's that big and he's that renowned, that known, and everybody's giving him that credit, he's still somebody who's out here moving bricks, doing what he's got to do, keep that money coming in and keep that going. The verse kind of follows suit. You want to say your line?
It's fine. I don't know how, like, it's like he's up and, like, honestly, this whole rest of this verse is just almost typical, and not in a bad way, but there's nothing here for me to really comment on. He's fine. Like, I'm up in the rank in the cartel. I got this controlling this bitch, and still I'll book you for a show and get you showed in this bitch. Like, he's a mover. He gets stuff done. Swear you want to don that a bitch. We Puerto Rican gangland. 100 bricks ain't nothing. I push the button, make the plane land. I don't know. Fine. It's just very much, and I'm not questioning his authenticity or his realness. I doubt DaBaby would have him here if it wasn't whatever. I was just going, that's a lot of things you're doing and that you're admitting to. I'm certain that there then has to be a degree of this isn't actually what's going on. He's presenting more of how a lifestyle is type stuff, which is fine. But overall, the verse didn't do a lot for me. My favorite part is just when DaBaby comes in after and goes, yeah, he just told you how to pop. And he flipped the chorus. And I'm like, that was my favorite part of that. It wasn't a bad verse. It just, to me, it felt a little bit like, whoa, the album took a turn.
Fair enough. I liked it. I really, really enjoyed the song. I gave it a 4.3. I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed. I mean, I think it's also because I haven't listened to Kevin Gates in a while, so having that refresher of what he can do was really, really cool. DaBaby was solid, super solid, very just consistent with what we've been getting. So it was nice.
I give it a 4.25. I think it's a good song, but of the songs I've heard, this is the one I like the least so far. However, it's still remarkably talented, and compared to a lot of songs that are in the same vein sonically as this, lyrically both these dudes are bringing it to the table, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. So, on that note, why don't we discuss gospel?
I've been praying to the Lord, I've been talking on my knees. I've been thinking about my pops, I've been thinking about my ops, thinking how I can stop me a nigga when he breathe.
So here we have a feature-filled experience.
This was so weird, but it was good.
It starts off and it's got a hook where he's like, this shit here sound like some gospel. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. I lost my daddy the same week as they lost Nipsey. And whoever put the lyrics up on Genius wrote Nispy. And I sent in a lyric correction request, and I don't think they accepted me. And they left it as Nispy. I'm like, who the fuck's Nispy? This man just passed. Be respectful. Nipsey. If you're gonna do the lyric thing, doesn't matter what you think you hear. This is Googleable. I digress. Then I don't know. I ain't got no love left in my heart. My shit be empty. I'm ready to fire on all my ops that tempt me. And I'm like, this is a fine chorus. It's okay. Guy comes in singing. I'm not really sure who he is. YK OSIRIS. I'm not sure who that is. Is it OSIRIS? OSIRIS?
OSIRIS?
Yeah, it's Osiris. Whoever put this on Genius fucked up this guy's name too. Because Osiris makes more sense to me. He sings a little bit. He's fine. Doesn't do a lot for me. Just sings. He doesn't have a bad voice. It's just nothing. There's a lot. Then DaBaby does a ridiculous flow. He's really, really dope in my opinion.
The song itself, though, does kind of have this talk about coming up from the bottom, though.
A little bit. Like, let me pop my shit. I came from shit. 3 of us, my mama, she couldn't pay rent. 2 jobs all alone, she couldn't quit. We was home and we was jits. That was before I was growing, before no clothes.
Can somebody just let me know in the comments what jits is? Thank you.
I would like to know that too. He had no shoes, he had no clothes. Let me wear your shoes, let me fuck your bitch. And it kind of shows the environment where he's coming from. If you have nothing, you desire what other people have almost.
But that's crazy though, right? I ain't had no shoes. I ain't had no clothes. Let me wear your shoes. Let me fuck your bitch.
Yep.
Now, I understand the whole let me wear your shoes, but the realness of like, yo, I don't have anything, I can't even get pussy. Let me just like see if I can run your bitch quick.
But also on the other hand, I'm gonna fuck your bitch to get those things.
Oh shit.
Like,
shit. Okay.
I ain't had no car, I ain't had no whip. Wonder why I cover his ears when y'all talk, cause it ain't nobody could tell me shit. And I spent $30K on my daughter's birthday. Everybody had fun, everybody lit.
Now that's a cool thing too, right?
Like that's where he ends up at.
Wonder why homie cover his ears when y'all talk, cause ain't nobody could tell me shit. I spent $30K on my daughter's birthday. Everybody had fun. I like how he's kind of presenting, like, when y'all out here saying you make millions, like we were having the conversation earlier, y'all are talking shit. Y'all are fake, and I don't want to hear that you guys are portraying this fake type of narrative, this fake lifestyle. I literally just spent $30K on my daughter's birthday. If you can top that, then we can have the conversation. Like, that was super cool how he calls people out and then also legitimizes himself with some, like, not even materialistic, like family shit, which you can't even cross that.
And then I love the fact that he doesn't want to be friends with everyone. He ignores his phone. Everybody a leech. Everybody want to, jump on his dick and try and get whatever. Meanwhile, he's been thinking about his pops, who has just passed, and the complicated situation and stuff. And I thought that was cool. Like, something I find myself doing is conveniently forgetting my phone places around my apartment. My phone is always on silent. I'll just ignore you. You don't need to reach me. This idea of being reachable and having all these people show up.
You say that, but I sit here and go, his computer is always on. Just message him. It'll pop up.
You say that, but Facebook's not always open on my computer, and you don't always reach me. And it's really easy to ignore that when you have an album open here, a video game open here, a thing open there, and you're like, I don't care about the Facebook message. I'm playing Civilization right now, and my Empire, if you play Civ 6, the Empire that starts off as just a ship, if you can make landfall real quick, you have the ability to sail, and you start off with 2 citizens, so you can pop off a second settler and basically cascade an empire. I feel like it's not fair how big my empire got just because I could sail to islands, and so I took over like the Arctic and stuff. Yeah, that's what's up. So all I'm trying to say is this was a good verse, and I thought again he brings it through, and then the hook comes back in. I don't know if you have a lot more to comment on this first verse.
No, I took
Chance the Rapper shows up, and he goes, "Put yourself in my shoes, like I abandoned the race, and you ran in my place. Shoes too big, but they use hair strands as a lace and they break."
Dope.
Why? Why is that? I was going, that's not dope. So why is that dope?
Because for me, the way I interpret it is that people are talking shit, but they are talking shit without knowing who he is. So put yourself in my shoes, like I abandoned the race, walk a mile in my footsteps, right? And you ran in my place, shoes too big. You can't fulfill what I can do. You can't live up to my standards. You can't do what I'm able to do.
Yeah, but it's not that clever. It's just kind of obvious. It's kind of not that. It kind of loses it with, but they use hair strands as a lace and they break. Right?
Well, no, because hair breaks really easily in terms of.
But that's a dumb line.
I think it was cool.
You started off real strong, okay, and then but they were stupid and used hair instead of shoelaces. Like, what? To me, that's a dumb line. When it's hot, and then I kind of feel mixed on the next one. When it's hot outside, you don't want fans in your face because it's hot outside, so fans showing up is bad.
But you might want a fan in your face.
Which is a double entendre because you can be going, or it could be a fan that you're blowing air.
But it also connects with the next line. When your man got a heat and the hand in the waist, gun.
But these aren't great connections. They're kind of... For a guy like Chance the Rapper...
Well, yeah, okay, hold on. So when it's hot outside, you don't want a fan in your face. So I get that.
It's not that brilliant.
But you might want a fan in your face, the double entendre with the fan and the fan, cool. But then also, you might want a fan in your face when your man got heat and the hand in the waist so that, shit popping off.
I'm saying it's not that brilliant. The man just wrote an album about getting married and crap.
Chance, I'm trying here.
I don't know why you're trying. Then he does a bunch of dexterous laboratory crap that isn't that cool. And then he just kind of ends. Just got to remember.
I didn't even catch the Dexter's Laboratory. I thought he was making a reference to Dexter Rapper.
No.
Wow.
Then just got to remember, got a family in the house too. Don't get caught up with the one that still function without you. I'm like, what the hell just happened on this verse? Nothing. It wasn't that brilliant. I kind of... Maybe I like Chance's other album too much. That verse made me rethink the whole album. I'm kidding. I liked his other album. It was good. The wedding album. Then Gucci comes in, and like normal, he's the only real one left. It seems to be like he says that in all of the guest verses these days. It ain't right how all went left on me. That is actually a fucking smart line. So it ain't right, as in noble,
right,
but also conservative in the sense of the game and the culture and what he brought to the table and how they all went left, liberal, PC, whatever, but also the opposite of right. And I'm like, did Gucci just make social commentary about the rap game and its evolution in a clever pun?
Smart.
In a clever pun that comments on PC culture, which is probably bad for drug dealers? Damn! That's the smartest line on the album. Maybe not, but it's up there. People took my heart and they stepped on it. Lately I've been hanging myself, homie. These fuck people made me sick and got me nauseous, paranoid. All this money moving, cautious. Flipping quarters to a corner belt. Run up on Gucci, you gonna see the coroner. Whatever, the rest of the verse is fine. But that line, brilliant. And then the song kind of ends. And I was like really impressed with it. I thought it was pretty good. I'm giving this another 4.25. Mostly because Chance is kind of trash, but everybody else is... So Chance and Singer Guy... Chance is trash. Singer Guy's alright, but generic sounding. Gucci's cool, but kind of Gucci. And then, had it just been Baby, I think this song would have been higher to me.
I kind of feel the same way. I like Chance's verse though. I think all the artists did a good job in terms of how they presented it. I like YK Osiris's singing. My only fall was Gucci, just because I never, and I say this all the time when I talk about him, I never got into Gucci. I don't know what it is. I respect him for what he's done and what he's done for, you know, hip hop and culture and really paving that way, but I don't know, it just kind of, every time I listen to him, I'm just like, it sounds just like the same shit. And I say that being complete, like really, really ignorant to a lot of what his discography is. I have, again, friends who've listened to him, played his albums. I've probably heard a lot of his songs in passing, a lot of his albums in passing, maybe at a party or whatnot. But
a lot of his albums.
Yeah, like I had a friend who really just loved Gucci and used to play it all the time at his house. So like,
do you have any idea how many mixtapes Gucci has?
Well, I'm confused between the mixtapes and the albums, but I know Gucci. Like I've heard him.
So he has studio albums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Couple collab albums. Okay. Something like 70 to 100 mixtapes. So Gucci's a machine. Gucci.
And I respect Gucci for the machine he is. I don't never got into his music.
I don't think you respect the Gucci.
But I gave the song a 4.3.
Alright, so thank y'all for watching part 1 of this review. We totally gonna cut here and do part 2 after, because it seems to make more sense to do the bigger half on part 2, because we do the long ass intro shit in part 1. So thank y'all for being with us. I look forward to seeing your comments. Do you like the Gucci Mane? Do you think that the Gucci Mane has an impressive number of projects out? This album wasn't really about Gucci Mane, but what do you think about DaBaby so far? Let us know in the comments. Looking forward to seeing it. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button like I just said. And special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Coney Sparks. They're all awesome people. They support what we do. They helped us get a new camera. They're going to help us pay for those sound panels I brought up earlier that are going to replace the sheets that fell in. What I'm trying to say is they're helping us elevate, and if you want to help us elevate and tell us what albums to review, you can check us out over at Patreon. That would be cool of you. On that note, I got an album coming out soon. I make music myself. In fact, I released a song last week. It's up on this channel. You can check it out. It's called Jargon Nonsense. It's about jargon. Right. That's what it's about, like CTAs and AROs and crap. Let me know what you think about that. Chris makes music. He's cool. All that's linked below. Let us know what you think about anything. Let us know your favorite video game code. Everybody knows it's Contra. Why are you trying to lie? Have yourself a great night. Peace.